Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. What'd you say?
Nothing, I was,
Okay. First item on the agenda is public comment. Not seeing any members of the public here. So hearing none, next is liaison comments. I think that our Board of Selectmen liaison, our first selectman is en route, so we will, if she has comments, we'll take them out of order upon her arrival. How's our Board of Finance liaison?
I just want to say what a great job the fire department and police department did putting the radio system presentation together and getting that through. Just really wonderful work. And I think the Board of Finance, I can tell you the Board of Finance is very impressed with how smoothly it went, how quickly it went. It was terrific.
Good.
Nice work.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just looking forward to having an improved radio system.
Oh, totally.
you can have
I haven't heard anything more about the borrowing, by the way, so,
Well,
borrowing. As far as I know, that's all gonna go.
okay.
Okay?
Okay, no other liaison reports. Next, I want to approval of minutes of the November 20th meeting. I don't know if everybody has those. That's the second one. I did not have any comments or corrections on it. You all did. Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the November 20th minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Current financial statements.
Okay, nothing's really changed from a month ago when we met. The only line we're going to keep looking at is the repair maintenance machine line. That's always been a line to look at for probably the last 5 years. So
The number is that?
that is 53510.
So is my math right? We're almost halfway through the year?
Yes. Trucks are going out. We had to do some brake work on Rescue 1 and we had to do some brake work on Engine 2.
pardon me.
Other than that, everything else is looking pretty good.
Anybody have any questions or comments on the current financials?
I'm just going down through the list, reviewing them, but I have a question. The volunteer incentives, that's at 100%. What is that? What's included in that, and what do we do about that?
That is the volunteer incentive. That's the bond program. And we pulled out money usually the first week in July. And I think it got distributed a month and a half ago.
You said that bond program?
Yeah.
Can you explain? What
Yeah, what happens is, money's always been in there, and what happens is, it's like a recruitment and retention program, and the town put the $70,000 in every year, and what happens is, you have to meet the guys have to meet certain quotas to be eligible for it, and it's just like, used to be a US savings bond until they went to the E-bonds and everything else, so it's more of like a retirement type of little program that we came up with back in the early 90s.
Okay, so do you just pay it out once a year? Is that why it's 100?
Yep. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay.
So it doesn't exceed that.
All right.
But the incentives are based on a schedule that the association maintains, and the key is having the members participate and meet all their meet their quotas. need a certain number of minimum calls.
It's not much, it's just a little for every guy, so.
Just something to ensure
Yeah,
they're participating
yeah,
fully.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other question on the financial statement?
Wait, I do. I'm just
Oh,
making
so
my
I'm
way
sorry, I
through it.
didn't-
It's okay. If you want to just, if you could email these, I don't know, was that included in our email? If not, just, if we have time just to go through it.
No, because it
Professional,
gets run at the end of,
Oh, okay.
right before the meeting, so that
Okay.
it's fresh.
professional development, that is also at budget for the year. Is that,
Which one are you looking at?
professional development?
Well,
line
there's
items.
Yes.
3 of them.
Right.
54620.
54620.
I think that's
2,800.
subscription.
Yeah, that's the subscription. That's the, for the weather software that we have.
Does the
That
code
we
come out of
pay.
that? The fire code come out of that too?
No, not out of that one. That's,
Fire marshal.
yeah, it comes out of the fire marshal expense, but that is the weather subscription that we pay for every year.
Which for some weird reason comes out of that line.
Yeah,
Right.
that's.
For Tony,
Yep.
just to keep it consistent, because at some point
At
that's
some
where it
point
was
it
taken
came out
from.
before us, so.
Okay.
Kept pulling it out of that line.
Okay, but that's a once
Yeah.
a
That's a
year
once, yeah.
expense.
Once a year expense that comes up, I'm thinking July.
I'm all set.
Okay. All right, moving on. Next item is the operating budget.
So this is a draft right now. Can't go for it.
Ship them around or?
Yeah, I figured out some easy on that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So procedure-wise, this is, did we get a due date on this? It's typically the first week in January.
I think it's the second.
Yeah.
By the way, the Board of Finance canceled their December meeting, so we're not meeting in December.
There were no funding requests or
Right,
anything
right.
from the Board of Selectmen, so tomorrow night or, no, Thursday night.
Thursday
Yeah.
night.
Yeah.
I'm just letting
By the
you
way,
know.
we skipped over your liaison report, Beth. I don't know if you want to jump in now before we get into this.
Is it okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we said we would defer it.
Yeah, no, thank you. I just wanted to thank everyone for all the hard work on the radio system and Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance, and you did that already, okay? I'll add
I
to
did
your,
it too.
Just say ditto.
your thank you, ditto, right? And the contract is now still with the lawyers. There's some things we have to work out. It's not clear. I know I saw Jerry Weiner this afternoon. He said he was going to be in touch with Tony because we were sitting all there together and just passed through about a half an hour ago. And they're talking to each other. So hopefully I'll have something to sign shortly. If not, well, I don't know. I can't sign it without.
It's trending positive.
It's trending
Yes.
positive,
That's
right?
where we're going with
Exactly.
this.
There's some
Okay.
minor details that have to be worked out. And other than that, I'm very busy, but I don't know what to tell you. Okay. I think that's it related to fire. Sorry. And, and all the wrapping was done today. I want to thank all the elves who showed up.
Very nice.
Yep. Took us 3.5, 4 hours. Got it done.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you. That's it.
Okay.
Okay, so Sean will present the draft, and then we can comment on it, do what we will. And depending on how far along we get, depends on whether we need to have another meeting before it's submitted.
What I've been hearing is that they ask if you have something in draft form, you can send it to Karen to start plugging it in, and then, if you have another meeting and you make changes, you can shoot those to her later, so at least she gets started on it.
Okay.
So,
Okay, the salaries pretty much stay the same with the exception of that 2% increase that was across the board. That's what basically we were told, so we left it alone like that.
Can I ask you what you did do for those percentages? Because there is a 2% COLA, I think.
That's what it is, it's
Yeah.
2.5%,
That's what's in there.
Yes, yeah, that's it.
All right,
Yes.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Part-time, all others stayed the same. Medical expense went up because the cost of EpiPens, we need to replace them come July 1 of next year, and EpiPens are expensive. Say they're like $750 a set, so,
Yeah, even the generic ones.
yeah, well, you have to be careful, so it's expensive, so.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a similar issue last year with the EpiPens?
There was, yeah. So that line's basically out of our control, plus we have new members and medical expenses where we pay for everybody's physical, yearly physical that we have to, per OSHA. So that cost went up. Volunteer incentives.
Let's go back to medical expense. I think what we're seeing is sort of the phase-in, the full phase-in of the increased expense for getting each firefighter their physical exam within the calendar year rather than allowing a grace period.
Yeah, so what happened last year, that's a good point, because what happened last year is when OSHA came down after we had somebody get hurt at the GCC fire, they went through our records, and what we were doing is we were giving people a grace period of up to 15 months.
No, 3 months.
Well, no.
Oh, yes, so
3
12 plus, yes.
You had to
yes.
get a physical within 12 months.
Yeah.
And we're talking calendar year, not fiscal year.
Yes.
Yeah, correct. So we gave people a 3-month extension if they needed it, or sometimes it helped us, so we didn't overrun that line, so we'd hit the next budget cycle. What we did learn through this whole OSHA deal last year is every single firefighter has to have a annual physical, and we have to have the paperwork in hand by day 365. At day 366, we have to take them out of service until they have a current physical. So instead of trying to play with some of the numbers to try to keep that line within budget, everybody has to have a physical within that
And
365
everybody goes
day.
to their own doctor for the
No,
physical?
we contract out with Yale through occupational health, and everybody goes through there, so
Okay.
everybody gets the same
Well,
physical.
that's interesting, I didn't know
And then
that.
people 40 and below have a stress test every third year. 40 to 50 you have a stress test every other year, and 50 and above you have a stress test every year.
How about every 10 minutes?
That's
what it feels like.
Whenever,
That's just our
whenever
day
the alarm
jobs.
goes off, yeah.
So,
But,
there's
and
a-
so
there's a
that
lot.
expense is anywhere from $300-400 per person to $700, $800, $900
Yeah.
or
So
more
you're
per person.
absorbing it on an
Depend-
accelerated level right
Correct.
now to catch up. I
You
get
got
it.
it.
I
Well,
get
what
it.
happened was, and it's actually a really good thing, last year we had a pretty big influx on new members. So I want to say we gained between 10 and 12 new members last year, which is actually really good in a volunteer department. So with that comes, we need extra gear, we need physical money, we need some other stuff. So it's a good thing, but it actually costs a little bit of money. If you could just excuse me for 1 second, I need to take this call. I'm sorry.
But another aspect on that, just from a user's perspective, because we all do it with the occupational health, you have to schedule your physical. And when you schedule it, you can't always schedule. They've had, they're a little bit better now, but last year in particular, they were really, really bad. You had to schedule it way, way, way in advance. So instead of running where if you've got that 3-month window, you run on 12 months, no, you have to run on 11 or 10 months in order to get your physical, and got to get it scheduled.
Because
And
I
therefore
called
use
and
it.
they gave me a month.
Right, so you
when I
have,
called, a
you
month
have
away.
to,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they're
It's
emailing
not
us the
12
papers
months
now
from date
instead
of
of
hire,
mailing
it's
them.
365-day
and
calendar year.
it's got to have the
Calendar days
paperwork
from the
in.
last exam.
So instead of being 12 months, it's basically 11 months if you want to do that. So,
Gotcha.
there's a 8% increase right there, no matter what.
So we're trying to bend with it, but it is what it is. That's out of our hands.
Right, and it's mandatory, it's not something that we
Right.
have really any control over.
Okay, volunteer incentives, we talked about that, what that is. Since we had such an influx last year and our membership has grown, we're looking to increase that program from 70 to 80,000.
Plus that line item.
We haven't had an increase in that line item since 2010. So it's been quite a while. Repair maintenance machinery, we were at 68 last year, got cut down to 57. I believe it should still be back up at 68, because even if we were to purchase engine 3, we're still gonna have repairs, and the other trucks are getting older. So we're gonna be every bit of 68 this year, if not more. And I mean, that's not a big secret to anybody on the boards. We always run that line item over. I think it was 3 years ago, that line ran to about 120,000. So.
We'd rather see that fully funded than having to ask for contingency funds, which is on that line.
It's a line that it's hard to estimate where the repairs are going to be for that year. Because if we have a truck go down with that needs quite a bit of work. I mean, 2 years ago, I think engine 9 needed work, and it was like $22,000. So.
Yeah, but it's hard to fully fund it if you don't know what you do, if you don't know what to fund.
Yeah, but 68 is usually a really good number.
Okay,
And,
well, the reason I mentioned that we're not meeting this month is all these issues
Yep.
that I would normally report
Yep.
back. You're
And
actually,
it's still early.
you're actually
in
gonna be
the-
reporting
Mhm.
in your, for the first time, your budget, your operating budget before our next Board of Finance meeting.
Right, and even if we
So,
came,
that's
even
why
if
I
we
mentioned
came
that.
to the Board of Finance, I can't tell you a number right now where
Right.
we're gonna be at for the year.
I gotcha.
It's just it's one of those tough numbers. to
Well, it's
come
because a
up with.
big part of it is extraordinary repairs, unplanned, rather than planned maintenance, it's the unplanned repairs, like when the drive shaft on
Well, that's
engine
why
3
they call-
dropped
That's why
down.
they call it contingent,
Right.
because you don't know.
Repair maintenance vehicle, that line does all
Right.
the inspections like the hose testing, the ladder testing, fit testing. And fit testing was another thing we had to do within the 12-month period. We couldn't wait the 13 months, so everybody needs to have that done. So there's gonna be an added expense there, roughly $1,000
Sean,
more.
tell us again what fit testing is.
Fit testing is for everybody's Scott mask, the breathing air mask that when they go into a fire or a car fire, it's the mask that goes over their head. They need to get fit tested every year because the contour of your face can change and everything else, and they need to make sure you have a nice tight seal around your face for the mask to work properly. Let's see. Everything else on that page stays the same. Programs and publicity is the next one, 54710. Programs and publicity are the little red fire ads, the coloring books, all the fire prevention stuff. Really doesn't have anything to do with, it has nothing to do strictly for the fire department or equipment in the firehouse or for the guys. This is more for fire prevention. That line is normally at 9,000. Last year, since the budget constraints, we saw we had enough inventory of the fire hats, smoke detectors, CO detectors, all that stuff. We were able to cut it in half because we had enough inventory. Next year, I don't think we need the full 9, but we're gonna need 7 to continue to do what we do. Beecher School, all the daycares, nursery schools,
Civic groups.
So we do quite a bit of fire prevention in October, but I believe we need roughly $7,000 next year to continue to do that. So even though we're going up, we cut it last year in half. We usually are at 9, so we're still cutting what we need. Office supplies we raised by $200, which is not a big deal. Computer, we raised computer by $10,000. 3 years ago.
No, not by 10, 210.
Oh, I'm sorry, by $2,000. 3 years ago, it's when the Board of Finance cut the technology budgets out of everybody's budget. We were at 11. We've been dealing with 5,000 and 8,000 last year. We think we're gonna need 10,000 this year, so we're still below what we originally had 3 years ago at 11, so we think we'll be fine at 10. Technical is 55120. Technical, we're going to go from 38 to 40. That is all the speedy dry, the drip hands, hazmat equipment, all the everyday supplies that we use. And reason being is, we think we need to go up by 2,000s because we know there's gonna be price increases come July of actually, I think of February of next year, which we're being told on some of this equipment. And that's to continue to do what we do. Our call volume, when we look at it, our call volume's actually increased. We were doing, a few years ago, we were doing about 425 calls. Now we're averaging roughly 500 calls a year plus. So our call volume's going up.
I think our call volume is now, our new normal is what was an extraordinary year a few years ago.
Well, when we had the hurricanes and stuff like that, we had 600 call year, which is a lot for a volunteer department, and even 500 is a lot now. To put it in perspective, Orange does about what we do for fire calls. Bethany does about 125, so it's quite an increase when we want to start comparing to other towns. That's roughly where the numbers are. Going through. The other one that we have to look at is hydrants. Hydrants go from 84,468 or 85,707 to 88,450. That's really out of our control. There's going to be a 3.2% increase, which we're being told by the water company come January of 2019, which would be in FY19's budget. And that's what our cost is. And if we would also include any additional charges. So if a car hits a hydrant and takes off, the town's responsible to fix the hydrant since we own all the hydrants. If a snowplow hits it and it shears it off, we have to fix it. So it depends on how bad the winter is. That's where we usually see a big influx of money to fix hydrants.
It could be
But
like
it also
$5,000 or
could be,
$6,000.
it could range from $300-400 to fix the hydrant, all the way up to $5,000 or $6,000 to fix the hydrant or replace it, depending on the damage done to the hydrant. Usually if a car hits it or a snowplow hits it, they shear it, break the stem, and they have to come back, reset the stem, put some new bolts in, stand the hydrant back up in the air. And then there's other times that it breaks or it's broken down at the bottom by the main that where you have to dig the road up and everything else, and that's where it costs them quite a bit of money.
But Sean, is that proposed budget number, does that include those repairs, or is that just the bare bill?
That includes about $10,000 for those
Yeah.
repairs.
Okay.
And that's about average what we go through.
We should point out that sometimes if it's a car accident, then we can get the responsible driver's insurance company to pay for it, I believe.
What's not right? That's,
Oh.
yeah.
Should have to pay for telephone
That's
bill.
why you need to find
Yeah, I
something.
know.
Sean, we can get,
I'm sorry.
we can get a car, if a car hits it, and.
If a car hits it, they stay there, then their car insurance pays for the repair of the hydrant. If they hit it and they take off, it's on us. So hydrants could be very costly, really quick.
I just have a question. So some of these numbers are, hydrants 84,468 and actual 85,707.
Yep.
But for the most part, they're all round numbers and exactly the same. So I'm just wondering how you prepare this. Is this actual? Is this estimated, rounded up? How do you, programs?
Well,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Nope.
With programs and publicity, you got 4,500 and you spent 4,500, or is that?
Well, we
Yeah,
haven't-
by the end of the year, we'll spend all of it because we'll replenish the supplies what we need to.
You'll
Yeah.
use what you have.
Yep.
So we've spent about 60% of the budget so far.
Mm-hmm.
Of the $4,500 budget.
Mm-hmm.
There's $1,821 left in that budget.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
we're pulling a purchase order for $1,000 in CO detectors for tomorrow to replenish those.
And then we typically have the fire prevention day in the spring.
Right.
And so that requires an expenditure.
Yeah, I would just, like, some of this stuff, like, tires, gear replacement, I would think you would have either, under or over, or, I understand
These are all
you're
these are all
projected.
averages. We try to
Yeah.
hopefully come in right there or right below it.
Yes.
Some years we go over it, like tires is a tough thing to figure out because tire prices fluctuate due to the
Please.
due to what the markets are doing with oil and gas and everything else. So it's a hard thing to do. But like I said, with the tires is we want to get the most life of we can out of them because in 7 years we can replace them anyway.
Yeah, but it's just hard to tell if there's categories where you didn't, use all the money you needed. I know that doesn't happen very often, but,
Our budget's usually right there, or we have to go and hit contingency based on repair maintenance machine. That's our big number that usually goes over.
And usually if there's any overages, if any place we
If-
come under, it'll
Then
be
we go
used to
over on somewhere,
cover
we do
something
line
else in
item
the
transfers to
budget.
cover the
Right.
overages.
like water, for instance, $1,000, budgeted 1,000 and 137 used, is that,
Go right through it. We also pay the hydrants, just so you know. That number also includes the fire service charges, so we have a
That's
fire
right.
service charge here. One for the library, one for town hall, one for public works, for Beecher School. So we pay for all that, and those are, I want to say $800, $1,000 a piece.
So our department budget includes the water service to put fires out and the hydrants.
Well, no, you're paying for the water in the pipes, but the fire service charge is basically the charge for them to connect a line from the street to the building. So that pipe on the outside of the building, that's basically what the fire service charge is.
Yeah, but the point is it comes out of our budget, it's not coming out of,
Yeah, but
say-
we don't pay for domestic water,
Right,
right?
Understood,
For other
yeah.
buildings. The domestic water comes out here, that's what
so that's
that is.
that 1,000, that's
that
just what you
$1,000
use in the building.
You got it.
It's a different of 40. There you go.
capital machinery, Sean?
Capital machinery, it's, we have to replace, we have quite a few minitors. We usually have a monitor replacement program, and we replace 5 or 6 a year. We have to replace quite a few this year because we're backing up. We have a lot of broken ones. So we're looking to replace 20 of them. So that's what that,
So that's
What is a monitor?
it's the thing that the guys wear on the side of their belts.
I don't
You guys
know.
have one on you?
Nate, I'll leave you.
It's a little beeper on the side of your belt that alerts when the tone goes off, fire call goes off.
It's a radio receiver. That is triggered by
My new
the,
vocabulary word of the day.
well, I think it's probably a brand name, but it's triggered by that beep tone you hear.
Yes,
Uh,
okay.
That's what sends a signal to, so that the monitor comes alive. Which is different than the radio, because the firefighters not carrying their radios around with them at all times, most of them anyways.
No, not the minute.
So, do you have any comments on the proposal?
The only other thing that may be added to our budget, which I'm talking to Tony about, is with the radio system, we have to pay for service on the new radio system when it goes into service. And we have to decide what service level we're gonna go with the radio system. Plus, we have some Team One lines that we would have to pay for, and the monthly rental on the EMAC tower in Seymour,
Isn't there a
which we
service
talked about
contract
that.
also you have to decide on? For something
Right,
like
that's what
that?
I said,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, I don't know, we're still unclear on what budget that's gonna come out of, whether it's gonna come out of ours, the police departments, and it's gonna add so much to it, depending on the service contract level.
Right.
And then we'll go from there, but, yeah.
So that could be a whole nother line item.
Yeah, that's what it would be, exactly that.
But does it take something out?
It does not take anything out.
There's no adjustment of.
No, because you remember, we're adding a couple more sites.
Oh, I remember.
So we add the T1 line. A T1 line is roughly $250 a month.
But that's not none of that's in our budget now.
No,
None of the radio system maintenance service.
no, but it all depends. So it would come out. So there's 25,000 now, I
Yeah.
think, in the police department's budget, which would actually come out and it would be readjusted and we'd figure it out.
Because
Where it would
there's
come.
some piece of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
there's roughly
exactly.
25,000, yes.
But the expense has to go somewhere.
Right.
Whether it's us or a police department or public works or a town hall or something.
Or some combination thereof.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
we don't know
Yeah.
yet. We don't even know what it's gonna be.
Well, we know what it is, we just have to figure out where it's coming from and the level, what level of contract we want to do.
But we're trending positive.
Yes, absolutely, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing, it's not a negative thing. Okay. Any
Right, the
questions?
increased medical expenses for firefighters is, well, we don't want to spend more money. That's a good thing, because it means we have more firefighters available
Yeah,
for
I mean,
duty.
you know where the mush is in this. I mean, I'm not.
There's actually, to be honest.
There's not a
with-
lot, I get
Yeah,
it,
no,
but-
no, actually what happened last year, when the budget crisis came down again last year, and there's not a lot of room, really wiggle room in our budget. I don't think there's a lot in a lot of people's budget, because you're at the point where I think you're almost gonna end up cutting services is your next
Well,
move.
I think that's the tension.
Yeah,
That's exactly
so
right.
that's where it is. It's not like you can cut this to
Yeah.
save over here. I think your next thing is to cut services, so. But I think we're pretty confident that we can get what we need to do with this.
Okay.
I think it's also important to note, we talked about the capital budget, about the trucks, and we really need to get on a replacement plan so we can more stabilize the repair maintenance machine number. Because, I mean, we're talking 25, 30-year-old trucks here, which, I mean, we had a drive shaft drop out of engine 3 last year. We did a Band-Aid repair, I want to say it was like for 10,000. But if we went to replace it, we're looking in the area, if I want to say it was like 26,000. So it's a big number to play with.
We're on it
So-
tonight, right? Bid specs?
Yeah, but they're not ready yet. We had a talk with them, but yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Save some money. Get it done.
Any questions on the operating? We're still working on some of them, so.
So where do we go from here? If we're still working on it, if you expect some refinement of this,
We can submit it as a draft. Still gonna need a few weeks on
Do
it.
you have a meeting coming up with Tony and me to go over this?
I do.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if that was
We're trying to meet with
it.
every department.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to jam
So I
them
think
all
we
in.
submit it in the beginning of January as a draft, and then in our January meeting, we can talk about it and finalize it and take a vote on it at that time.
I mean, I don't want to vote to approve it if it's going to change.
No, I think we submit it as a draft, and we could
Because January won't
finalize
be
it in
till-
January.
The 22nd.
Till the 22nd.
Right.
Does that work timing wise?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, thank you.
There's always time. There's always time. Till April.
Anybody else have any other comments on it? Okay. And move on to the chief's report?
Just
Okay.
looking to see when the meetings are at the end of January.
We had Santa at the firehouse on Saturday.
23rd and 25th are the two, so you can meet on the 22nd and... How come you're not meeting on the third Monday? Is it
It's a holiday.
Martin Luther King Day. We can't have a regular meeting on that.
Got ya.
Wait a minute, the budget meetings are the 23rd and 25th?
25th,
Because I don't even
Yep.
know that yet.
15.
and the 30th. Yeah. Well, that's when it is. I
Okay,
don't know how you
that's
didn't
fine.
know, I'm sorry. Not my...
It's possible Karen sent it out, I just didn't put it in my
Yeah, I don't
calendar
know.
yet, so don't worry.
Yeah.
We had Santa at the firehouse on Saturday. It was a success, like it is every year. Probably had 200, 300 people here pass through. So it was good. We're going out, Santa on the fire truck tomorrow night and Wednesday night to deliver gifts to the needy families in town. Mrs. Claus helped us out quite a bit with that again this year.
Tell her thank you for us, please.
I'll pass it along, she's my sister, that's what I tell her. You look like her. Oh, she's my sister, we're twins. Yeah, we had a lot of kids, and I have to say, if I could just add something, Mr. Chair. Human Services really came through to help us with, they added things, so you might know, sometimes there's a bag with 2 things. There's tons more, it was really, really great, and everything that we didn't use is going in the Yale
The
toy closet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that, it was really, it's great. It's a real good thing.
If you guys want to donate money as a commission to for the needy families, feel free to do that tonight if you'd like to do that. If you don't have the money, you can tell us
I'm
and write us a
donating
check.
I'm
to do that.
donating these, I'm done.
I don't mean you. Okay. Apparatus report. The trucks are going out, getting fixed, they're coming back. We had a issue with the stop engine light on Rescue 1. They had to come down. They needed another part to fix, so that got fixed. We haven't gotten a bill on that yet. But the trucks are going out for the regular PM. Dispatch, we're going tomorrow morning, the first selectman, myself, the police chief, and Tony to
Can you
look
drive, by the way? Because I couldn't fit 4 people in my car
Sure,
without the top down.
sure. Well, I got the
Okay.
impression that we're going separately from
No.
Tony.
Oh, I just talked to him this afternoon,
Oh,
we go
okay.
together.
Okay.
Save money. Where are you going? Yep.
Northwest Dispatch.
Yeah, we're gonna go look
in
at the-
Waterbury to
I wanna
look
see
at there.
See what
So
we
we'll take a
might
look at
buy
that
or
and we'll
not
go from
buy,
there.
or-
And the radio system upgrade we basically talked about. We're meeting with Paul Zito to try to finalize what we need so we can get a contract together on the equipment that we're doing with a number, so we can get the board of
Yeah, as
selectmen
soon as
to
possible.
the first selectman to
Yep.
sign it,
Yep.
so we can order it by the first of the year.
Is this so we can get that year-end discount from
Correct.
Motorola?
Yes. If we wait until January, we lose it. We had a bunch of calls lately. We had a really bad motor vehicle accident yesterday late afternoon on Racebrook Road. Patient's in critical condition. We extricated her. It took us, I'll say it was 26 minutes to extricate her yesterday, which is actually really good for how bad the car was destroyed.
So the one that
But I
involved
do
an
want
oil
to,
tanker truck rollover?
oil tanker rolled over at 2,500 gallons of fuel oil, and they had to take out and put it into another truck. There was minimal spill on that. The police department treated it as they had to do reconstruction in case patient doesn't make it. So they were out there from about 3:45 when the call came in. I think we came back here just after 10 o'clock, and then we had another call. So it was quite a long time to be on scene. But I do want to thank the commission and the town because the tools that we used yesterday were phenomenal. We used all the tools off of Rescue 1, the hydraulic tools, the 2 tools off of Engine 7. And without that, the extrication probably would have been anywhere between 50 and 60 minutes. And usually you want to get the patient out and get them on the way to the hospital as quick as you can, especially yesterday when they're critical like that. She was in and out of consciousness. So, I mean, we do it. We do it all the time. Mike saw it last year on a call on 67, but you guys, when we go and ask for equipment, nobody really knows what it does, but yesterday he gave the patient a chance to live because of the equipment the town bought and how good you keep it, how good we keep it, and in the maintenance program and everything else we go through. So everything worked top notch, no breakdowns, no problems, and we're able to get the patient out fairly quickly.
I was gonna say
You get
something
an oil
about
tanker
that
and you have
in my report.
quite a bit of damage done to the vehicle.
I was gonna say something about it in my report, but I didn't know if we were going to bring it up. But it sounded to me like everything just worked so well. And when I talked to the chief and I talked to the police chief, and I, really said to thank everyone that was on scene, because it just sounded like it was just done perfectly. Everything worked, and thank you, everybody, so thank
So-
you again.
Sean, in terms of the tools, how about basically the Amcus tools, the
Yes.
so-called jaws of life?
We had 2 spreaders going, 2 cutters, and 2 rams going.
And we've got
yesterday.
that equipment both on Rescue 1 and Engine 7.
Rescue 1 has all the big equipment on it, and on Engine 7, we had a spreader and a cutter we utilized yesterday if we needed to. And when we talk about how much this equipment is, this is the perfect opportunity why you need it. A spreader, the jaws of life, what we talk about, they're roughly $10,000. When they start to go, we're having issues.
Well,
we
and that's
usually
just for the-
replace them.
that's just for the
That's just
tool.
for the tool. Then you have the compressor, you have the hoses. But I think it's important to note that because of the equipment yesterday, it basically gave this woman a shot at life again.
Well,
So-
we're often asked how come the fire apparatus, how come the trucks are so expensive? And part of it is because they're outfitted so that that equipment is not just on one vehicle, but we've also put it on Engine 7 so that you can attack from both sides. Do you want to describe how the extrication went in terms of what you had to do in terms of the cutting and the spreading?
The dashboard was rolled down onto the victim. There was nothing really left of the passenger compartment. The wheel was bent up over. Her foot was underneath the brake pedal. So it was tough. Once we couldn't see her feet when we got there because the car was so mangled in. We had to cut the door off, get rid of the door. Then what we had to do is we had to actually lift the dashboard. If this was the dash, it was all the way down. We had to lift that up off of her, and then we had to get another ram. We had to get another ram on the other side to lift the other side of the dashboard up, cut the steering wheel off, so we were able to slide a backboard in, and then we had to carefully take her foot and get it around the brake pedal to slide her out onto the backboard. So, and she was in and out of consciousness, but the extrication itself went good. It did take 26 minutes, but in a scenario like that, it's not unheard of to have an extrication go an hour plus. So it worked out really, really well.
Thank you.
New apparatus. We are currently working on engine 2. Just so you know, we dealt with New England, with Rosenbauer of New England. We bought engine 7. Rosenbauer of New England does not exist anymore. The new dealer for Rosenbauer is New England Fire in North Haven. So they took over a new dealer. They're the ones helping us out with our bid spec. We've also met with numerous other companies. So once we have our bid spec, it's going to be generic, and we'll send it out to bid and go from there. Just so there's no more Rosenbauer, New England. The new service center is actually in North Haven, which is actually better.
That's better.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next item is activity report.
So, here we have September and October.
Do you need me at all? Right now?
That's The paperclip
Yeah.
stuff.
What?
Executive session.
That paperclip stuff, that comes
That's just when,
Oh,
that's
just-
how the report is generated.
I gotta go, I have an emergency I have to go take care of really quick. But I know it came up before, what we spent on engine 3 over the last 5 years has been in excess of $46,000. So if anybody asks,
How many years?
5. And that's basically Band-Aid fixes. We're not replaced, like I talked about the drive shaft. I want to say the drive shaft was 10 or 11,000 last year, where we could have spent 26 or 27,000. So
I
we're
put
trying
that
to
body
Band-Aid
work
it.
we did a few years ago too.
So
Thanks, Chief.
Can you please stay with me?
All right, September, we're a little backed up, but September wasn't that busy of a month. We had about 14 fire alarm calls and such. October was more of a busy month. We had that one busy night, basically day, and we had the storm. There was a lot of wires down, trees down. We worked hand in hand with the PD and Public Works when they came out. We went road by road with them.
Is that the hazardous condition line?
Yeah. So we kept them, because we can't talk to them basically on the radio, we went road by road with the operator, the machinery and chainsaws, and we cut everything down and moved it out of the way. So that month was busy. I gotta catch up on the last month or so of cards and stuff, so to get everything else all caught up. So, the chief talked about certain calls, which was the extrication of the day. Saturday night, we had a chimney fire, which wasn't really that bad when we got there. The man was actually on his roof throwing snow down it. He was on his roof throwing snow down it.
Snow down the chimney?
Don't,
Put out the
Helpful.
fire.
don't try this at home.
Yes.
He was
So,
just getting started without you.
yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's a really bad idea, right?
Yes.
It's cleaning it up.
So we got there, there was no fire or anything when we arrived or anything, so we did our normal, we put the chain down, cleaned out his chimney and stuff like that, and vented the home. So, but yes, do not go on your roof, do not put snow down, do not try to do it, yes,
Oh, yeah.
so.
Okay, following up on the chief's comments about the busyness, I see, you know, if you just all look at the October report and the incidents the year to date, compared to the
Hours,
prior
yeah.
years, and the hours, yeah.
Yes.
We're way ahead of last year.
Yes.
Wasn't 2015 the hurricane year? Or was
No.
that 2014?
14 was
I believe.
111.
So it's even more dramatic than that.
What was it, 12?
Well, I started
Well,
working here.
Superstorm Sandy was
Maybe
just 5 years.
Irene.
Oh.
2012,
Yeah,
Ed was
12.
alive,
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I remember.
All right, never mind.
yeah, that's okay. So yeah,
time flies.
it was a
Time flies.
busy, October was a busy month, just like that day and a half. But UI we worked really well with too. They were out, they made sure everything was safe so we could move on to the next one and stuff like that. So, but it was great to have just Public work with us to go around, made it much easier. So, with the man hours and time and everything like that is going up and everything, just being at each one.
Okay. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Is there,
Go ahead.
is there a way? Is there a way to, I don't mean to be a pain,
No, go
but
ahead.
to see year on year how the percentages are changing so we can, maybe you guys know already, figure out what's changing so drastically?
I could look into that, yeah.
Well,
I
can
mean,
you
we've-
restate that though, so that we
So
can
this-
better
So just-
understand what you're looking for?
There is more detailed information available, but what we've learned, you know, over the years is that we don't necessarily need all the detail, and that we're wasting a lot of paper printing it out. That's not what you're asking about, I know, but
I don't want a lot more detail. I just want to see year next to year percentages. So, you know, this
We
year,
had this amount of fire-
56% are hazardous conditions without a fire. You know, where is the percentage of growth? Is it over everything, or is it one particular call or two particular calls that have ballooned? over the years?
Okay, so we can probably run annual figures on the percentage of calls.
Yeah.
Where do motor vehicle accidents come in under this? Is that rescue and emergency?
It
Yeah.
depends, it can't,
Should.
yeah, it's usually, that's where it is if
It
there's
should be,
injuries.
if there's
in
injuries or anything like
particular,
that, compared to just something with fluids or a car fire or.
Which would be a hazardous
Yeah.
situation.
I mean, anecdotally, we think there's a big increase in car accidents. but
Yeah.
That's not,
Well,
that's
that's probably
just
what
our
it is.
sense.
This time of year especially,
Yeah,
with
but,
accidents and everything.
but I'm saying if you're comparing December and
You-
December, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
No, the cumulative is more,
Just more stupid drivers
Informational.
texting and doing their emails.
Hey, wow.
Well,
all
weather.
right.
Yep.
The next item is the fire marshal's report. Joe, you're up.
Okay, 2 plan reviews in October, 4 incidents of public education, 5 consulting, 2 investigation. I received a complaint over the phone and investigated and reported back to the building department on my findings there. And I did 38 annual inspections.
I see the church in New Haven is not in New Haven.
Huh?
I see that the church in New Haven is not in New Haven.
No, it's not. It's on, where's Greenwood?
Yes.
That's what the inspection revealed.
We had a minor fire at Amity High in the kitchen,
Oh, yeah.
convection oven. We spoke to the cafeteria staff and we've scheduled better cleaning intervals.
So that was in the cafeteria kitchen, not in the,
No,
what they used to call the home ec department?
No, not in the new home ec department, it's in the cafeteria.
Does that trigger the sprinklers when it happens?
No,
Or it
no,
doesn't trigger it?
no, it set the fire alarm off.
Well,
Oh.
It just made smoke, no.
How come it doesn't trigger the sprinklers?
It's gotta get hot to trigger them.
Oh, it's heat. It's
The
not-
fire was really in the oven itself.
Yeah.
It was just
My daughter
grease in the
was-
bottom of the oven.
That's helpful to know.
My daughter was really hoping she wouldn't have to come back to school the next day for her chemistry test.
Oh, she
I'm
do
glad
want
it was
it.
contained.
We let her
That
down.
damage was contained. Her chemistry test, I don't know.
2 days ago.
Okay, any other questions for the fire marshal?
4 days ago.
Oh, I know why.
Next item is my report, and I just wanted to add my thanks to the members of the fire association. I'm very happy to see the lights and on the tree and the menorah this year. Lends a festive holiday atmosphere to the town, which is very well received. And for all the good work you all do all the time.
Yes, thank you.
Next item is executive session. We don't have anything for executive session, so we will skip that. No action on that matter is heard in executive session. I don't see any correspondence.
Other than thank you notes from some of the children that were visited during fire prevention.
We will take up a collection for Toys for Tots after the meeting, if anyone's interested. And our next meeting date is the 22nd, where we will review the final version of the proposed operating budget for the following fiscal year. I do not anticipate a need for a special meeting before that. And entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion to adjourn takes priority over all other motions. There's no discussion on the motion to adjourn, so all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.